Doing today? Well, a couple things wanted to cover with you guys while I'm at it. Got a couple clean shots with this bow, and I'll tell you a little more about it. Better off without the bow. Oh, bullseye is a bullseye is a bullseye. The things about this bow, it was inherent from the get-go that this was going to be taking a lot of set. A couple of factors that create set in a bow. Green, not fully dry. Well, this was a green bow, green branch. The first thing about it, green, it's going to take set. Second thing about it, the shorter the limbs, the more it's going to take set. And this is a very short bow. But it was a brush bow, a survival bow, and I can live with that. For a few shots, I pull 52-pound draw. I'm hoping when it dries, it'll do pretty good. But like I said, I've got a couple things to show you, so I'm going to move the camera. If this is too jarred, I will. Oh, by the way, yeah, I got a couple of nice ones. Okay, if it shakes too badly, makes too much noise, I'll just cut this part out. The camera down here. Gotta see what my screen's showing me. Okay, a strange assortment of things here. This is an Eating tool. Now, I will say that originally this green ring and green carabiner weren't on it. It had this black one. I switched things around. I love the tool. I felt that the black carabiner was just too tight, so I switched these for it. It has a spork here, has a spoon, small fork, finger grip where I can use it and hold it tightly, bottle opener, a 6, an 8, and a 10 millimeter wrench. It's lightweight, has a screwdriver on the end. So, a pretty useful tool to clip on your pack. The big brother, but the military type key ring, or can opener. Use these a lot, really enjoy them. Put this clip on it, and here's the carabiner. Like I say, they come on this Eating tool. Ozark Trails. I keep this in a pack or use when I'm out. This is the one that actually stays in my car. Okay. Very functional fork. Functional bottle opener. It's got a little rust because it's sitting in the car. And then we have a blade here with bottle opener, can opener. So this one covers a lot of any tools. Nice little Hobo Tool. Over here we have a spoon. It had this small ring on it. I put a bigger one, and it has a knife. So, see how we got a peg here and a hole, peg and a hole. These go together, opposite directions, and when the fork closes and the spoon closes, it locks the whole package. So this has been out in the weather. It's been on trips. this has had a lot of use. I really do like this. Yeah, you can buy it at Walmart, yes. There are a lot of people who don't like Ozark Trails, but there's a perfect example of a mess kit. Alright. A project that I wanted to do. This blade, and I don't know how well it's going to actually show on the camera, but has a design here where it looks like a samurai sword would be finished. How it has that thing. Well, I did that etching. Over here I actually have my name signed on the blade in etching. Well, I gave one of these are just some inexpensive throwing knives I got from Bud K. They're a pretty good length and all for throwing. So I've been out throwing these, and Sean and Jeff have been out throwing these. I gave them each one so they could etch. They both immediately decided to tiger stripe it. Now I let these sit for a day and a half with the way they were etched. We just cleaned Sean's today, and it had been 4 days. It was very much darker than mine, so I want to do an experiment out of curiosity. So here's one that isn't etched, and we're going to use mustard as how we're going to etch this. And I'm going to put a design on one side of the blade, and then I will turn this over and do an etching on the other side. I'm sorry about the wind. If I was out in the woods, it would be, you know, a more controlled thing because the trees will block the wind, but I'm not. So I'm going to do a lot of what they were doing, but theirs were just a simple stripe. I'm going to try and vary mine a little bit. More of a zebra maybe than a tiger. I'm going to have it wider at one end, narrower at the other, and then kind of alternate that. This mustard is what we're going to use for etching the blade. We're not going to put any harsh acids on it. You know, we're not going to put tar on it and muriatic acid or any of that. We're just going to put regular, as you can see, regular table mustard. We actually did Sean's the other day with a mustard packet, I think, that he had left over from White Castle. So okay, so there's one side. And this side will be side 2. And there's a reason for the distinguishing between sides 1 and 2. Side 2 here will stay for 4 days. Side 1, which is going to have a pattern, won't go all the way across the blade. And we're just going to make a series of stripes. This will stay on for a day and a half or so. Actually, I think here, for the fun of it, I'm going to end with a series of 3 dots. If I had thought about it sooner, well, I can still make a change here, I think. Nice thing about it, you get it on there, look it off my fingers. So this video will be shot, won't be finished for a few days. So this is going to have a chance to sit and let the my etching compound dry. I'll prop it here and let it dry out in the sun for a little bit. Actually, I'll use my chopstick that I was painting with to help lock that in and stabilize it. Then later on, after it's dried, I'll come back and get it and take it inside so I can keep track of it. Like I say, we'll come back in a couple of days. I'll show it to you a day and a half. I'm going to wash the one side, and then I may actually just wash this side. And I want the other pattern for the darkers. And we'll see how if it comes out darker or not. And so we've got a few days before this can even be posted. And I'll see you then. Hi. Well, a couple of things. I need to get my grass cut over here, and this is in the way. But since I've already forgotten because I was busy, and this has stayed out here, I guess another 2 days before I can actually cut this grass. All right. Because we're going to do 2 days on one side, 2 on the other. I'm looking at this, trying to decide, do I want to remove these stripes or do I want to remove this pattern? Well, have to say, my first inclination would be to remove the pattern up here. Now, the problem I'm going to have with this test is that if I get this wet, I risk getting that wet. So, use my nail carefully, because while I haven't sharpened this particular knife, real sharp anyway, I have sharpened it some. So, I will clean this. I'll be careful with it, and then afterwards we will give it 2 more days and see if the pattern on the other side of the blade has gotten darker than this one. And I'm trying to, what I'm doing is scraping towards the edge of the blade so that I keep me off of it. Now, this is some cool soapy water, and I'm cleaning that a little bit. You can see where this place is still adhering. Alright, now we've got the blade in very good shape. I'm going to wipe it here on my leg, and in this light I can't tell how well that pattern is showing, but I can see it. So it's definitely here. It's not the darkest, but it's a nice little pattern, very interesting. Not necessarily my favorite. And then I'm going to leave this one sit for 2 more days. We're going to give it that 4 days so I can compare how dark this will stain the stainless versus what we did on this one, which had 2 days. I've also never done this out in the full sun, so that may have a bearing on it. But like I say, 2 more days, we'll be back, we'll compare this blade with this blade and see how it works. Alright. Tomorrow I can get my grass cut finally, because this is coming to a close, so get a little bit of detergent in there. And take a little bit for this to, soften up. But we'll move into a little bit less of the glaring sun, where we could probably see this just a little bit better, more realistic looking, because we won't be in such bright light. But I want to compare 2 days worth of etching with the mustard. It's a 4 days, and see if there's a significant difference in the amount of time that I leave it on. I figure I'd like to know, and I figure I'd like to share it with you, my friends. there. We'll move it to the sun here in a minute, but I can definitely see my little tiger stripes, and I can definitely see the pattern I just made. Not sure which one's better, but we'll go find out in a little darker light. Okay, so what do we got? This, you can see the pattern created by 2 days worth of wearing the mustard. This is what we just turned over to. So this was sitting for 4 days. Is there any significant darkness between one and the other? Well, not really sure that there is. But it makes an interesting etch, and that is not, that's a stain. It's an etched in stain. So I could sit here and just run my fingers along that. Now you notice I'm staying away from the edge of the blade. I can run my fingers along this all I want. I'm not going to alter what we've got created. So if you want to have fun and play with your toys a little bit, customize them, this is one way you can do it. A little bit of mustard, a little bit of time. Now, if you want my opinion, from what I observe, sitting this afterwards in the sun, that sitting there may have darkened the stripes we put on it. But that's the results I got. So thanks for watching. This is Rich here at Spirit of Wild Wings, and we'll be out tomorrow getting into the woods. You should too. Get up, get out, get in the woods, and get yourself some dirt time. Thanks.